Here at Motorhead Garage, we love really cool vehicles, and I gotta tell you, this is one bad motor scooter. It's a Dodge Ram truck with a 12-inch lift. It's a former SEMA truck, so this truck is famous, and it's right here in our studio today. All that and more coming up on Motorhead Garage, presented by Top Coat. Welcome to another edition of I'm up here. Welcome to another edition of Motorhead Garage presented by Top Coat. I tell you what, driving this 2019 Dodge Ram pickup truck is outrageous, and it's brought to us from our friends at Route 66 Customs. Alex, what have you done to this vehicle?
This is our 2019 SEMA vehicle. It's a 2500 platform with the Kellerman 10 to 12-inch airbag suspension on it.
What kind of reaction did you get to this thing at SEMA?
We got a lot of good reactions, so we tried to do some things differently and do some things out of the box, some little touch items like the air box in the back or the air controls in the cab, the glow-in-the-dark suspension with all the UV black light underneath, really set it off and made it pop.
How much effort goes into a project like this, and how much planning is there ahead of time?
A lot. So I mean, we got this really late in the game because it was a new body style for 19. Kellerman had only put out a few kits before it. We waited up until about July just to get the suspension kit from Kellerman. Didn't have any instructions at the time because they were still working out the kinks and everything. We had to put it all together one time, get all the welds and cuts right, and then tear it all back down to send it out for powder coat just to reinstall it completely again the second time.
And it's a tremendous task. When you're jacking a vehicle up like this, geometry is so important. How critical is that in setting this thing up and making it drive well?
It's extremely important. So I mean, for this lift, like you said, it's on airbags, so it'll go from about 6 inches all the way up to about 14, but the actual ride height's between 10 and 12 inches. So the point of that is setting your pinion angles with all the forelinks and everything to make sure the drive line's in the correct geometry so you're not tearing anything out.
You guys do trucks like this, but you do other things, not just trucks, right?
Yeah, so we try to do really anything we can. We do lowered vehicles, we do gas performance, anything that we can get our hands on.
How did Route 66 get started in this customization business to begin with?
So yeah, our parent company, Kernersville Chrysler Dodge Jeep Ram, is actually the second largest Ram dealership on the East Coast. And we used to partner with an outside vendor that provided some pre-lifted package trucks for us, but we really found desire and a need from our customers that they didn't want necessarily everything that those trucks came with, or they wanted something extra or something different that we couldn't offer them with that preset package. So instead, we decided that we had the facilities and the capabilities, so we just branched out, came up with our own brand, and kind of made it so that we could do both packages and a la carte options.
Other folks are lifting trucks all over the place. How is what Route 66 different from what those guys are doing?
So one of the biggest differences for us is we are, again, part of a dealership. So if you buy a vehicle from us, we can actually roll all the upfit up into the financing, and then we actually deliver for free up to 300 miles.
That's a perfect piece of cake. Now, this is a turbo diesel, but you guys are also experts in superchargers, as indicated here on this beautiful looking Jeep. This is your supercharger kit. You guys are surfing up hamburgers, right? Yeah, what's in the kit?
So the kit comes with the supercharger, all new injectors, new map sensor, all new plugs, as well as the air-to-air intercooler, all the piping needed and necessary. It installs in about 1 day. So there's a little bit of downtime to overnight the ECU back and forth to get it programmed because it retains a factory ECU. But other than that, no extra wiring or plumbing needed, all self-contained. And it's a really great kit. It gives you a good power band. It keeps it very quiet for day-to-day driving. And again, you're getting about 425 horsepower to the flywheel, 365 foot-pounds of torque, you know, at 8 pounds of boost.
I want to feel how that thing pulls. Can I drive it?
Absolutely.
All right, we're looking at something a little more tame than the lights out truck. This is equally impressive though, this Jeep Gladiator. The lift isn't quite as dramatic as the truck was. What do we have here?
So this one's just sitting on a 2-inch Mopar lift with the Fox shocks all the way around.
But what really shines with this is what is under the hood. Tell us what you got going on there.
Yeah, so this is a 2020 Jeep Gladiator Rubicon with the factory 3.6 from Chrysler, but the customer needed a little bit more oomph. So wasn't happy, especially after we put the lift, bigger wheels and tires, a little more weight to transfer around. So we ended up installing the Hamburger supercharger kit on this one. So that supercharger kit's rated at 425 horsepower to the flywheel and 365 foot-pounds of torque.
It's very well behaved.
Yeah. So I mean, it drives very well. It's very smooth operational. Gives you the power band when you need it, but the supercharger is also very quiet. So we got a little bit of exhaust kit on the back as well. Hearing a little bit of drone, but as far as the engine noise you would get from a lot of other supercharger kits spooling up, you just don't have that with this one.
I always get that with these off-road type vehicles, the mall crawlers. You know, the tires are noisy, the engine's noisy and everything, and this is very civilized.
Yeah. So I mean, it's something you can beat around every day, but you know, you can also take to the trails or go have fun with. And you know, a lot of Jeeps, you put a lift kit, wheels and tires, 35-inch tires on them, and you have a hard time passing somebody on the highway. So you know, you give it a little bit of extra power with the supercharger kit on it, and you know, you need to get around grandma in front of you, you just scoot around.
Well, it is phenomenal, and so is the truck. If you want a little extra or a lot extra, the folks at Route66trucks.com can help you out. Just call up my man Alex, and he will hook you up. We'll be right back with more Motorhead Garage presented by Top Coat right after this.
How about some Motorhead Garage trivia? China is the world's leading car manufacturer. In 2018, they made 28% of all cars and trucks produced in the world. Just how many cars did China produce that year? The answer? 25 million. Over 3/4 of those were passenger cars and the rest were commercial vehicles. Motorhead Garage coming up right after this. Motorhead Garage, presented by Top Coat, is brought to you by Magic Creeper, the most versatile creeper ever. Custom Auto Sound, the originator of classic car OEM fit radio since 1977. Chode Engineering Performance, one stop for all things diesel. And by Top Coat, advanced coating solutions through innovation and technology.
Welcome back to Motorhead Garage presented by Top Coat. You are locked in for a great half hour, and right now we have Steel Rubber with us once again. And Danny, you always bring some cool stuff because you have thousands and thousands of parts in your catalog at Steel Rubber.
Yeah, we have over 12,000 products in our catalog of parts that we offer, and it ranges from simplistic door weather stripping to really complex pieces that are, you know, only made for a specific vehicle.
There's so many parts in your catalog and so many things you have in the warehouse there, but every once in a while you get somebody calling up, say, we don't have parts for this, can you help me?
Yeah, we listen to our customers, and our customers overwhelmingly have told us, I can't find this on the market. And one of those projects happened to be the Lincoln Continentals of the 60s, the JFK era from 61 to 67, those big four-door convertibles. They had trouble finding those parts or parts that were even halfway decent. So we took on that project, and I have all 3 generations of those cars, those roof rails right here, and we have all the parts for them, but these roof rails were kind of a very big piece of that puzzle to come up with all those pieces.
How satisfying is it for all of you at Steel Rubber to come up with something like this that works?
We love it, and our customers love it, and what we love most is whenever our customers tell us, you know, I've been looking for this part, I could not find it anywhere, especially if it's something we just made and now it's there and everyone can enjoy it.
That's one of the classics. You also brought with you something that's not so classic, but it's a very popular vehicle that you don't think about very much.
Yeah, so in a completely separate world, we have made the seals for the Chevy Astro van. And a similar thing, our customers were just telling us, I can't find these seals anywhere. I can't find them. GM doesn't make them anymore. So we took on the project. A lot of guys I talk to, they can tell me a cool story about how they learned to drive in a 64 Galaxy. I learned to drive in a Chevy Astro. So, you know, I don't know if the time's coming where people are wanting to restore them, but, you know, we listen to our customers, and this is the product that we have.
This is an interesting blend to me because you often see things that are classics that people obviously want to keep and restore. In this case, maybe there's some nostalgia involving that, but I see a lot of these vans still in use by painting companies and workers, so there's still a need for this.
Yeah, you know, on the flip side, compared to the Lincoln Continentals, there's millions of these. Chevy Astro didn't change their body style much for 20 years, so that helps, you know, just the amount of people who might be able to use these.
Now, anytime anybody has a vehicle, how do you make a catalog for them?
So we have year, make, model, and even body style specific catalogs that we print off individually for each customer. Like we have one that's just for the 67 Lincoln Continental 4-door convertible. We've got one for the Chevy Astro passenger van, not the cargo van, passenger van. It's very specific, it has all the parts for that car, and it's printed on demand.
And if I cannot find something for my vehicle, like maybe these folks have done, what do I do?
That's where we go over to our street rod or universal line. You know, if you're working with something that didn't have rubber on it to begin with, or you're working on something that you can't find parts for and we don't make it, we have a huge line of weather stripping that you can still use to make your car windproof, waterproof, and enjoy that comfortability of the ride.
And the good news is you guys aren't just about cars. What else do you make seals for?
We have parts for RVs, we have parts for boats. All those have stemmed from our customers saying, we want this, I can't find it, and we treat everyone's project like it's our own. We care about it. Just call one of our customer service people and you'll find out for yourself.
And that's on the front end, but it's also on the back end. If I get something to my house and it doesn't work quite right, what do I do then?
We have a 100% satisfaction guarantee, and what that means is if you buy anything from us and you're not happy with it for some reason, we will work to make it right. Whether it's getting you a new part, a refund, whatever it is, we want your experience to be the best with us because we do care about it.
Well, everyone we've ever talked to that uses steel rubber absolutely loves what you guys do, both the product you make and the service they get. So,
well, we really appreciate it, and that's our goal.
Perfect. You can see if they meet their goal. Check out if they have a part for you or see if they can make one for you. Check them out at steelrubber.com. We will return with more Motorhead Garage presented by Top Coat right after this. Don't go anywhere.
Ohio is the home to lots of firsts, including one rather inauspicious event back in 1891. That year, the town of Ohio City claimed the first accident involving a gasoline-powered car. Engineer James Lambert was driving a motorized buggy he'd invented. He lost control and crashed into a hitching post. Lambert and his passenger both suffered minor injuries. Motorhead Garage coming up right after this. Garage, presented by Top Coat, coming to you from Borla Commerce Park.
Well, we'd like to thank the folks at Rock Auto for coming on board once again to Motorhead Garage this season. And if you're a fan of Rock Auto, you know that it's the one place to go for just about everything automotive, for just about every car out there. And Tom, here's something that's become more popular. In about the last 8 years, Ford's been putting these shutters behind the grills of their F-150s. And of course, when those things go bad, lots of other things can go wrong too.
Yep, yeah, Ford was the first to put these on all their cars and trucks. So they've become more common on Subarus and Nissans and Ram trucks and you name it. And it works like a Venetian blind. It shuts off the airflow so the engine warms up faster. If you live in a cold climate, you don't have to put cardboard in front of your grill when it's 40 below out or whatever.
I'll miss that look.
But over time, they're right behind the grill, so they catch all the bugs and road debris, so the Venetian blind flaps start jamming up or the motor might fail. So you just replace it as a unit and you're all good to go. When you buy parts like this, in the past you used to have to keep like a big paper folder full of warranty information to, hey, is that still under warranty? When did I replace it? And when you order at rockauto.com, you can just go to the order status and returns page, and it tells you right there, hey, this is still under warranty, or this part isn't under warranty, and you just click to get it replaced if you have a warranty claim.
The first thing I think of when I think of that is, you know, when you're buying a filter or something consumable like that, you always forget the years run together. Oh my gosh, I did that a year ago, and it all runs together, and this is a great way to keep track of that. So Rock Auto is not only the most cost-effective place to buy stuff, but it's also a great way to keep track of your maintenance needs.
Right, yeah, no more big stacks of papers to try to keep track of your records.
Time now for the lowdown with Magic Creeper.
Can we talk for a minute about the Magic Creeper? Of course, it works great as a mechanic's creeper, going underneath the car, in and out from underneath, and of course you can go from side to side whenever you're working on the Magic Creeper. And it beats the heck out of a regular mechanic's creeper because a regular creeper has casters, and of course that decreases the clearance that you have underneath the car. It also makes it difficult to maneuver on rough ground or a rough floor, and they kind of flop around and you don't really have a whole lot of control. It'll never, ever work on gravel, but the Magic Creeper will. You can go over gravel, rough surfaces, tools, whatever you roll over, comfortable, you won't even notice them when you're on the Magic Creeper. And you can do anything you need to, oil change, whatever it is, emergency repair, the Magic Creeper comes in handy. However, if you are like most people, you're not going to spend a whole lot of time underneath the car. But the Magic Creeper is still something you need to have in your toolbox, or in this case, in your car. You can use it for all kinds of things around your car. Just keep it in the back seat. If you have a flat tire, naturally, whenever you get a flat tire, you're dressed up and going someplace nice. You're not going to want to kneel in the mud or on the side of the road in the dirt. And of course, it's going to hurt your knees. You can't do a Johnny Bench just crouching there for 15 minutes it takes you to change your tire. Just throw the Magic Creeper down. Use it as a knee pad. It keeps you clean. It keeps you comfortable while you're changing your tire on the side of the road. And of course, if you're washing your car, you can use the Magic Creeper as a kneeling pad, and any chemicals, any dirt that gets on the Magic Creeper, you can just clean it off with soap and water. It's super easy, super handy, all kinds of uses for the Magic Creeper. You don't have to be a pro to use it, but be sure to check them out on their website at magiccreeper.com, because there are imitations and they're not the same as the Magic Creeper. We'll be right back with more Motorhead Garage presented by Top Coat right after this.
What happens to all the cars that wind up in accidents or finally just die? In the United States alone, about 12.6 million cars are recycled every year. Some cars are stripped for parts, others are worth more as scrap and head straight to the shredder. Just how much do auto salvage businesses in the U.S. make every year? A whopping $22 billion. Motorhead Garage coming up right after this. Motorhead Garage, presented by Top Coat, is brought to you by Stage 8 Fasteners, home of the world's best locking header bolt. Locking kits now available for all turbo applications. Go to stage8.com. Steel Shield Technologies, the ultimate protection against metal-to-metal wear. K-Suspension, helping you to start rolling smoother today. And by NH Oil Undercoating, the official oil-based rust prevention system.
Welcome back to Motorhead Garage presented by Top Coat. All right, I've got one for you. A nuclear scientist, a college instructor, and a defense contractor walk into a television studio. All right, it's not a joke, it actually just happened. This is Pasha Rudenko, and he is with Tribotex. It's something you're gonna love. Tell us what it is.
So Tribotex, it's a result of my PhD work at Washington State University that based on nanotechnology, and we call it dumbest possible artificial intelligence. Let me break it down for you. If you would say in the future had a nanobot and you would tell that nanobot to go swim in the engine and fix, let's say, play in the bearing, what the nanobot would do? It would grab a small amount of material, swim into the engine, attach it to a surface, swim back and repeat, right? We did exactly just that, but with as little of intelligence as possible. Let me explain how it is. So we made flat nanoparticles that have chemically and functionally different sides. One side is sticky and another is slippery. So when the nanoparticles attach to a surface, they only attach by sticky side and expose slippery side. So sticky side reinforce the surface and strengthen it, and slippery side protect it from the future damage. And interestingly enough, when many of those particles attach particle by particle, they go into attach in random pattern, forming porous structure. And that porous structure is thick enough to compensate for the wear that was accumulated for decades of the functioning of the mechanism. So we used that technology and simplified it for the everyday consumer to be used in engines, gearboxes, power steering pumps, rear differentials, front differentials, all kinds of the mechanisms that are lubricated by regular lubricants that over time wear out, that need some attention. That is what we brought.
Now, when you set out to do this, you weren't setting out to research engines and that sort of thing. How did you discover this technology?
We went into a completely different thing. We started from the hip implants, and then we learned that industrial applications would be really good, wind turbines, space applications. Essentially, NASA just recently put a wonderful article about us in the Spin-Off magazine. And we thought for the long time that this technology is going to be just too expensive for the regular consumer to really use it. You know, nanomaterial is expensive to make. You need substantial quantity to really show the difference. So we went and asked several government agencies, would you be interested in us bringing this technology to the market? And National Science Foundation funded us to build the production capacity. And after that, you know, we had a lot of the material, but we didn't have customers. So we decided, how are we gonna bring it to the market? We put it on Kickstarter, then on Indiegogo, blow out our initial goals, and then Amazon, eBay. Now we bring it to retailers. So we just happy with the results.
All right, so the Air Force uses Tribotex and big industry uses this. What can Tribotex do for me on my little car at home?
Every car over time wears out, and spherical bearings become elliptical with time. So you get little play and you hear it as an extra noise. So when this noise happens, the more particles get delivered into that little gap, and they build a layer particle by particle, so your bearings effectively shrink. So you rebuild engine without disassembly, just with the syringe of Tribotex. That's one part of it. But that coating is not just thick and protective. It is also more lubricious than the material was before. So the bearing becomes more efficient. That reduces heat and reduces a little bit fuel consumption. Overall, those benefits are very useful for everyone who can keep their car longer and retain efficiency over long term.
How quickly am I going to notice the results once I put Tribotex
That's a
in?
very good question. The first difference in noise you will hear about 15 minutes in, and we want you to wait for those 15 minutes so the material gets dispersed over time pretty well. But the real benefits happens when the cylinders and rings get coated, and this is just slow splash lubrication within the motor, so it takes longer. It takes about 10 motor hours, and we call it about 500 miles. So when those got coated, then you start realizing benefits of better fuel consumption and lower heat rejection into coolant. So the temperature of engine goes down again by a little bit.
Well, if you want to see more, you can check them out on their website at tribotex.com. Pasha, we thank you for being here. We thank you for joining us from your living room. This has been Motorhead Garage presented by Top Coat. We're going to do it again next week. In the meantime, if you know of something you'd like to see on the show, be sure to email Jeff at masterstv.com. So until next time, from our entire crew here, we will see you later.